Jeff Bezos, a 1986 graduate of Princeton University, founded the behemoth online retailer we all know as Amazon in 1994. He worked in the financial sector for the few years between his college days and the founding of the online bookstore in his garage. The company went public 3 years after its founding, and the rest is history. Bezos was crowned the world's richest person in 2017 after his net worth ballooned to $150 billion. He's been described by Forbes as far richer than anyone else on the planet and shows no signs of slowing down, with his net worth being calculated at $196.6 billion in July of 2020. Many things that are far too expensive for most people to dream about are small drops in the bucket for the founder of Amazon. So today we're going to check out 10 of the most expensive things owned by Jeff Bezos. Number 10, New York apartment. To start off, let's look at where Bezos resides when he's in the Big Apple. New York City is one of the most expensive places to live in the entire world. Tiny little apartments cost more than most are willing to pay for an entire house in the suburbs. But Jeff Bezos had no problem dropping $80 million on 3 conjoined condos. Then a few years later, he paid $16 million to add on to this stack of apartments, adding 3,000 square feet to his already multi-floor New York palace in the middle of a city known for tiny and overpriced living quarters. Number 9, robot dog. Jeff kicked off the 2018 Amazon Mars conference by taking a robotic dog for a walk. The conference is dedicated to machine learning, robotics, and space exploration. So it's no surprise the photos appearing on Twitter during this time look like a science fiction movie. Now, Bezos may or may not own the robot dog, but when he tweeted the photograph, he did in fact call it my new dog. Number 8, Amazon Seattle. Bezos is obviously best known as the founder of Amazon. The mothership of this worldwide $100 billion operation is located in Seattle. The sprawling campus occupies over 40 buildings, both owned and leased by Amazon. They take up much of Seattle's South Lake Union, Denny Triangle, and downtown neighborhoods. More than 45,000 employees go to work each day at the Seattle campus. Number 7, private jet. No surprise here, any big-name billionaire has a private jet. Jeff's personal aircraft is actually roughly average when it comes to private jets, costing about $65 million. Bezos chooses to soar above the earth in a Gulfstream G650ER, which seats 8 people, and as we can already see from the number of locations Jeff does business in, it logs a lot of miles. Number 6, Texas. Other than Alaska, Texas is the largest state by area in the U.S., so it's only fitting that Jeff Bezos owns a significant portion of the state, 300,000 acres to be exact. That's right, between his land owned for his space exploration company, giant clock, more on both of those later, and a ranch for his family, this tycoon owns a chunk of the Lone Star State equivalent to nearly half the size of Rhode Island. Number 5, Seattle Lake House. The little town in Washington where Bezos has one of his many residences has a population of merely 3,000. Located just outside Seattle, Medina, Washington is the home to not only the richest man in the world, also the 3rd richest man in the world, Bill Gates. The other 2,998 residents of Medina are other Microsoft and Amazon bigwigs, as well as other extremely successful tech entrepreneurs. When you cross the floating bridge into Medina, you really are entering a different world, which most people will never know. Number 4, Washington Post. Like we see with many of Jeff Bezos' large business ventures, his acquisition of the Washington Post didn't make much sense on paper, but he took the $250 million plunge out of principle, not data. It's clear that the market for traditional newspapers is surely fading fast. But when Bezos purchased the newspaper in the nation's capital, it wasn't to make money in the traditional format. His aim was to preserve the historic institution while transforming its approach to delivering news. Since the internet essentially blew up the old model of tossing papers on the front porch, Bezos decided to leverage the instant global delivery system that the internet provided with a strategy based around maximizing the number of eyeballs drawn to the newspaper rather than maxing out the profit per reader, which had been the Post's long-held strategy. Number 3. Blue Origin. In the past, the world's royalty and super rich often poured money into exploring uncharted parts of the Earth. For those who have all the conveniences and luxuries available locally, the only thing left to delve into is the unknown. So now that our current planet has for the most part been discovered, many of the billionaires today have been decided to explore the next frontier, outer space. Bezos is on the forefront of private space travel along with his billionaire counterpart Elon Musk. Blue Origin was founded by Bezos in 2000 and has been inching closer to an affordable and accessible avenue for everyday citizens to travel to space. In 2019, Bezos and Blue Origin unveiled their plans for a moon lander known as Blue Moon, which is set to be ready by 2024. Number 2. 12% of Amazon. When Bezos and his wife Mackenzie divorced in 2019, the couple settled on a 25-75 split of their jointly owned Amazon stock. Even after surrendering a quarter of his stock, the founder of Amazon still owned 12% of the $160 billion company, making the total value of his shares something like $20 billion. Number 1. Clock. In 2018, Jeff Bezos tweeted that installation had begun on one of his more interesting projects. Most of what Bezos works on has a direct impact in the present moment, either a company that serves society and creates wealth and convenience for countless individuals, or a luxury item that increases his quality of life. But this gigantic clock is none of those things. The brainchild of an MIT professor, what is known as the Clock of the Long Now, is being installed into a mountain in West Texas. Unlike most clocks, it only ticks one time a year and chimes once every 1,000 years. In its final form, the clock will be 500 feet tall and run entirely off of thermal cycles for 10,000 years. According to Bezos, the towering timepiece will be a symbol for long-term thinking, something becoming ever more rare in today's fast-paced world. Well, there you have it. Jealous? Me either. It's hard to be jealous of someone so rich that it doesn't even seem real. So let's exit cartoon money land and leave this one right here. And we'll catch you next time right here on Behind the Screen.